Hey guys. Ooh, 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 ooh. Dude, I'm a little bit of a mess this morning. Just saying. Yikes. So, I'm excited. We have an awesome guest today. I don't know how many of you guys are MMA fans out there, but we have a real MMA fighter coming on to join me shortly here on my Kendra project. And it's going to be large. Okay, let's add my amazing guest. Just give it a second. Or it's supposed to be adding you. Just double check your connection. There we go.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
It's an early morning for me. Not too bad.
Is it?
Yeah.
Have you been up for a while?
Yeah, I had a long shift last night and just getting some plans ready for today with got some stuff going on with some of my buddies that are in fight camp for their upcoming fights.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Nice early day. So let's get right into it. Welcome. Thank you for coming on. It's been a while. George has been encouraging this interview for a good amount of time now. And so we are excited.
All right, me too.
And so tell us a little bit about it. You were in Ranger Battalion with George, or were you in first or third?
No, I was in second. We served together with George.
Oh my goodness. He is already bringing up Eleanor. Good grief. You have an Eleanor fan.
Yeah.
Stalking the stream here. So how many years did you spend in regiment?
So I enlisted for 4 years. I did 3 tours, 2 to Iraq and 1 to Afghanistan during my enlistment time.
Mm-hmm. So actually, that is something that's been brought up to me recently because I just completed the book with David Burnett about the Night Stalkers. And a lot of people are finding, as opposed to the Vietnam era, that special operations now, the community, it's becoming more and more common rather than the exception that gentlemen like yourself do 4 or 5 years and then they leave. Why do you think that is? Because in Vietnam, if you worked so hard for a specialty for special forces or special operations, Ranger Battalion, or etc., you stayed in for longer. Why do you think that the service times are getting shorter?
It just depends on, the individual's goals and intentions. I think when I enlisted, I had no idea what a Ranger Battalion was. I immigrated to America as a little kid from Russia, and my dad served in the Russian military. And so when I enlisted, I just enlisted as regular infantry. And while serving in basic training, or going through basic training, I stood out physically and just, I guess, my maturity level, and excelled. And for me, it was really, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was easier than others just because of my upbringing from my dad and that sort of thing. So physical conditioning and that sort of thing was really easy for me. And so if you're in good physical shape, then other tasks that they put in front of you are a lot easier. So I had no idea what the Ranger Battalion was at that time. I graduated basic training as top of my class there. I got offered airborne school, and I was like, hey, sweet, I get to jump out of airplanes, why not? And then once I got into airborne school, that was in Fort Benning, Georgia. And we had some cool looking guys with tan berets that came over and said, hey, who wants to be a Ranger? And I was like, oh, those guys look cool. I want to do that. Right. So, and that's kind of how it all panned out for me. So my career was phenomenal. I had a great time. There's always ups and downs and that sort of thing. But I knew that once my 4 years were up, I already had this kind of planned out that I was going to get out. I wasn't a lifer. I wasn't going to stay in. I wanted to, serve my country, do what I could as best as I could, and then get out. So that was my plan coming in. That's probably why, I didn't re-enlist.
There was a short plan in place. Yeah, no, the deep breath when you talk about jumping out of airplanes or falling out of a perfectly good airplane. It's out. My heart rate actually elevates just talking about it. I have a recurring nightmare of George like showing up to a Ranger Road event and George like strapping me to him like a baby Bjorn and like,
Yeah.
because I'm not big. I could not fight back.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Well,
no way that's happening.
yeah, it's actually it's a lot of fun. I mean, skydiving in general. We have a bunch of guys. It looks like Zach Carbo just joined, but he's one of my buddies also that served with us, and we do an annual skydiving event for veterans, disabled veterans, and we do that every year, and we have one coming up in September. And so these guys are disabled. These are guys that got hurt overseas and that sort of thing. And so jumping out of airplane it's a that free fall. It's a great feeling.
Oh, I'll take your word on it. There's a guy that I met at SHOT Show from Mission Volant, and he was like, well, I think you should do the damn thing and like fall out of a perfectly good airplane. He's like, it's okay. You're small, I'm big. Like, it'll be no problem. I'm like, oh my God, no.
Is that Robbie?
I'm terrified.
Is Robbie?
No, it's Austin.
Austin, okay. So Mission
Volant,
Volant,
Austin,
yeah.
Shinji guy.
So Mission Volant, Robbie is part of that. I don't know if he runs it or not, but they come out to our skydiving event and help out with a lot of the disabled guys that we jump with. So good dude, and all the guys from Mission Volant know what they're doing, so they'll take care of you, make sure you're okay.
I'm sure it's that overwhelming fear that consumes me to get me to the place of, I think, the airplane taking off. Although we negotiated a contract and I said, all right, you have an offer. Here's my counter offer. My counter offer is if I can ride in a C-130 up until the point of falling out of it, I might be persuaded. Yeah. And he was like, I can arrange that. And I was like, oh, damn. Yeah. I was really hoping that would have been a no.
Yeah, he can definitely make a lot of things happen.
Yeah, everybody was so great. Everybody from that group was so great. I was there at Salient Arms the night that they kind of jumped into the parking lot, which was effing incredible. And everybody was great. I met everyone, and Matt Jaskell and all the guys were so congenial and super friendly and just really like their kind souls like just showed through. And I just love that when I meet someone, because you know how you can tell when you meet a person and they just have a good soul and it just kind of shines from the inside out.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe it that way. I wouldn't describe it that way, but I do understand what you're saying. You can kind of tell, if someone's a dick or if someone has bad intentions, you can already tell. You can sense it, right? For
real. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about something that's been coming up lately for me. I want to talk a little bit about your transition and when you left, when you got your DD-214 and when you left. Tell us a little bit about that. Was that smooth for you or was it rough? Because we're finding a lot more lately that it's more the rule than the exception, that these transition, especially, am I drunk? Coming out of the special operations community, all of them, that it's a little more rough than it is smooth. How was yours?
So everybody has a little different experience, and I'm sure they can talk on their behalf a little differently. For me personally, I was fortunate enough when I got in, and I served with a good group of guys, and again, fortunately, I didn't get hurt. And so my transition when I got out, I just won the Best Ranger competition. I had a lot of offers.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool. But and so I had a lot of great things going for me at the end of my military, my contract. And I think for me personally, the transition or getting out of the military, just coming out wasn't too difficult. I did not have, it would have helped if I had somebody kind of walk me through what needed to happen and what to expect. That would definitely help. But on my part, I had a lot of family and friends and support back home that kind of, opened or welcomed me back and then pushed me in the right direction, or assisted or guided me towards what needed to happen, education, getting a career started and that sort of thing,
Yeah.
But a lot of guys from, working with Ranger Road, my nonprofit, I've experienced and I've talked to the guys, and it's they're having a hard time, especially guys that are, getting hurt and having other issues and concerns that have come up, serving in battalion or in the military just in general, and then being able to just flip the page or flip the switch, and now you're a civilian, and life is completely different. Expectation level is different, and just a lot of things are done differently in the civilian world. So I think having somebody to be able to actually help you through that transition, get out of the military, or through that process would be huge. It would be a big help in the sense of assisting the veteran coming out to be able to start on the right path, and go and fill out the right paperwork and get started, get a job, get an education, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And is that something that you think that the military can be providing? Is just some kind of transition counselors, just someone that's got like a guidance counselor in school or a career counselor that you would hire, just someone that's there saying, hey, here are your options. There's classes, there's, this class at the local church, there's classes at the community college, you can enroll in university, etc. Just putting your options in front of you and presenting them in a way that is easy to understand and easy for them to kind of start getting down to business of getting back to life as a civilian.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I agree with what you just said. I think the military should have personnel in place that specifically focus and work with the veteran transitioning out of the military to be able to guide them, like I mentioned, in the right path. And like you said, there's counselors or whatever their job title would be. I don't know about counselors, but somebody that knows or is in the loop on the civilian world and what the job opportunities are, and what the veterans background is, whether he was a medic or
Right.
whatever the case may be, and be able
Mm-hmm.
to kind of steer him or her in the right direction. That would be huge. I'm
Yeah.
a strong believer in that.
Yeah. So if you had just one piece of advice to offer, the young guys coming out, I hear a lot about alcohol use and early alcohol use and underage alcohol use. And it's pretty commonplace, and sadly so, that a lot of, guys and women come out and they're, kind of acclimated to having a lot of alcohol, and they've come into these like mental habits of having alcohol to have a good time or to relax or to anything. And then the alcohol use kind of continues and sometimes ratchets up after they leave because they don't have a daily routine. They don't have a daily schedule to which they have to adhere. Um, what do you think about that? Like, did you see a pervasive use of alcohol when you were in battalion?
Yeah, I'll touch that briefly. I won't get into that too much. So, being in battalion, a special ops unit, versus the regular army unit, I don't know the difference. Meaning, it is different. But being in battalion, let me backtrack a little bit. I don't drink. I never, that it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
I've always been into sports and staying active and that sort of thing. So that was never my thing. But even with that, that being said, when I was in battalion, drinking was, it's a every, not me, I wouldn't say every day, but it's a thing that goes on a lot. I was always the DD, the designated driver, and guys
Yeah.
going out to drink. I was I was the guy behind the steering wheel. So that was my job. But you're right. Alcohol is, there's nothing wrong with drinking, but drinking excessively, that's another uh, completely different realm. And so a lot of guys in battalion, they're, and I'm going to speak on behalf of my experience. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
may have a little different experience, whether it
That's
be
all we want is
right,
yours.
right. So when they drink, and then the guys are drinking to have a good time, and it's not just one or two drinks recreationally. It's a lot of drinks, And so one thing leads to another, and then problems do occur. When you're in battalion and around guys that are drinking, it's kind of a normal thing. It's no big deal. We all kind of look out for each other and make sure everybody goes home safely. But I can see how being in that environment for 3-4 years or however many years that guys are in,
Yeah.
transitioning out of the military and being used to that, and not maybe having the ranger buddy or their battle buddy by them doing the same thing, it can get out of control. And with law enforcement nowadays and all these other things that are, do come up, and DUIs and that sort of thing, it definitely raises a lot of red flags. And then it's an effect that happens once, say the guy gets drunk and gets a DUI. Now he just got out of the military. Now he gets arrested. Now he's got classes that he needs to go to. His driver license gets suspended. So it's just a kind of a slippery slope,
ripple effect.
right? And then just one thing after another, and the guys, I can see guys getting frustrated, and getting treated like maybe a little kid, having to go to these probation hearings and DUI things and that sort of thing. So it can definitely be a big problem. One thing after another. Another aspect of that, just another little bit, is medication. The VA has been, I think they're getting better on it now, but they've been prescribing medication, like candy, and mixing alcohol with the medication, whatever it may be, is also a big problem. And not also, but it is a bigger problem because we
psychotropics,
right.
antidepressants,
yeah.
and barbiturates. Yeah,
absolutely. And we don't realize it until it's too late, and then you're doing something that you normally wouldn't do, and you're getting in trouble, and the guys are having a hard time, adjusting and figure out, hey, what the heck am I doing wrong?
Yeah. So your good advice to guys that are struggling at the moment?
I think the best, I didn't realize this when I got out of the military. I got into MMA. So it was right away. Once I got out, I think, second or third week while I was out, some of my buddies were like, hey man, there's this guy, Uriah Faber, he's going to be fighting. We should go to the fight. So I went there. I met Uriah, great guy, team alpha male. And he's like, hey, you just got out of the military, you should come and train with us. So I went into the gym, part of the team alpha male, and started training. So that transition, coming out of the military, I didn't really sit around and do nothing. I got into something, and for me, it was sports, being part of a team, and it was phenomenal because it was a similar transition in the sense of team environment. So from Ranger Battalion, you got your battle buddies, you got your squad leaders, and you got everybody together pretty close, right? The guys you do everything together with. And so coming out of that and going straight onto a team and participating, the guys taking care of you, and not babying you, but being there for each other and hanging out and doing the right things, kept me out of trouble and kept me on the right path. So that being said, I guess boils down to, when you get out of the military, find something, a niche, something to keep yourself busy. So some of these guys, I'm gonna bring out my buddy Zach Carbo. He got out of the military, and his thing is skydiving, man. He skydives he has one of those squirrel suits or the bird suits, and he's posting pictures.
Oh my God.
It's freaking crazy, but that's what his thing is. And for me,
his thing.
Right, and my therapy is fighting. I love to fight. I love to train. I love to get in the gym and sweat and have a good time.
Yeah.
And so I think finding something, that little niche to be able to grasp onto and be part of, feel good about yourself, and that keeps you kind of off the bad path.
Yeah. Well, I mean, having purpose, and those endorphins can't be underestimated. I really believe that. I mean, the endorphins that, especially fighting, I don't know what it was, because I was fighting for a while, and man, I loved it. There's something about it that just, you're really using your body, and it's you and me,
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else. There's no equipment. There's no fancy gear. It's your body versus my body. And there is something about pushing that to, the points that you can push it each night in training, and going home with fat bruises and sore muscles and your shins, you could barely walk on them. It's amazing. And I don't know why. It almost sounds psychotic when you describe it that way, but there's something about it.
Yeah, it's always doing something hard, pushing yourself to a limit, and then being able to kind of relax and look back on that and enjoy it. So it's
Yeah.
very important. That in itself, and I think a lot of it also has to be surrounding yourself with positive people, people that are doing the right things, and people lending a hand, putting their hand on your shoulder and telling you, hey man, good job. Look, check
Yeah.
this out. Do this. It helped me. Maybe it'll help you. So surround yourself with good people doing the right things is also, a huge aspect or part of that.
It is. I totally agree with that. Because if people aren't building you up, they're breaking you down.
Right.
It's just the truth. Like, people are either happy and want to celebrate with you and take the journey with you and like prop you up when you fall, or they're angry and envy at your success as you climb. And it's not without struggle. I think people see some modicum of success and they want to rip it down because they're not reaching high enough for themselves. And what people like that don't understand about people like us is that we want everyone to go together. We want everyone to succeed. We want everyone to run and climb and, pick each other up when we fall. We want that. And I feel badly for people that aren't there yet. I hope that they all will get there. And I feel badly for people that just aren't at that point yet.
Right.
So everyone that's watching, we have a few people on the stream right now, somewhere between 15 and 20, because it's not accurate. People jump in and out.
Right.
So I would love for everyone right now to share this live stream, because we're now going to talk about, I think, Mikhail's favorite part, and what he's been looking forward to. And it's been his passion project and his blood, sweat, and tears for a good long time now. And it's his charity, his project, and his foundation, Ranger Road. Jordan Stevenson, he's so handsome. Isn't he, though? Oh, my goodness. We're not going to objectify poor Mikhail here.
No, for sure. Jordan's a good dude. I love Jordan. Thanks, Jordan.
Oh my goodness. 18 years sober and will go anywhere, anytime to help any one of you vets. Just reach out and let Mikhail know and you'll be there. Thank you, Alan Christofferson. Michael Estrada, you used to mix different beers, maybe 5 different kinds of various alcohols, that it became a problem for you. I think it becomes a problem for a lot of people, and not knowing how to cope in other ways, and it becomes your go-to, is where the problem lies. It's that dichotomy where people, they have mechanisms, but they don't have the tools in their toolbox, to get through what they've always coped with in one manner. So learning new tools and new skills to cope with things that are bothering you or dragging you down or keeping you from reaching your next level, it's difficult. And reaching out for help, there's nothing wrong with it. Talk to people, talk to your friends, get around good people, reach out, write to friends. We have these amazing tools on social media, and your network is bigger than you think. Everyone thinks that they have a tiny little network, or they won't have friends that reach out if they send up a flare. But the fact of the matter is, people will answer. People will come to help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Send up the flare. If you don't send up the flare and no one knows you're hurting or you're in trouble, then they can't know. No one's a mind reader, except for those people on TV, although I still think that's sketch.
I agree. Yeah, it's probably sketch. But you just hit it on the spot. For us, I think vets, it's hard to raise our hand and ask for help, but that is just a first step in the right direction. And help can be something simple as, hey, let's go work out and chat. We'll talk, get a bite to eat, and then see how we can help each other out.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys, share right now. Do it. Smash that share button. Oh, gosh, I really sound cheesy when I say that. But we're now going to get into Mikhail's passion project, Ranger Road. And I want you to jump in and tell us all about it and all the amazing things you're doing for the community.
Okay. Let me know when I can start.
Hey, no, right now. Start. Yeah. Jump in.
So it's not just me. It's not me at all. It's Ranger Road is the community. People coming together and doing things and helping each other out. Ranger Road started. We're pretty brand new, but we started because when I came out of the military, and I didn't realize this, like I mentioned before, got into MMA, got into law enforcement, started working, and got married, and everything seemed to be going, as planned, normal. And a lot of the guys from the military who I served with, or other guys that have seen me either fighting or from the Best Ranger competition, they would email me or message me on Facebook or Instagram and ask, hey, Mikhail, everything seems to be going good for you. You're doing the right stuff. What are we doing wrong, or what are we doing differently that we're having a hard time? Share some knowledge. So I kind of sat back, and that's
Drop some wisdom.
right, right. And that's how Road was born. I sat back and I figured out that for me, this is for me, staying active, staying busy, being around good people is what helps me and helped me through my transitioning phase. And so that's the bottom line with Ranger Road. What we do is we put together events, programs, get-togethers, and we hang out with other veterans and civilians. We invite civilians, and we stay active. And what that means is basically, for example, we have a skydiving event that's coming up. Last year we had about 500 people that came out, and we sponsor. Last year we sponsored 36 disabled veterans, guys and gals that have a disability from war, from the military, that are veterans, and we bring them out and we skydive. We have pro skydivers that come out in their squirrel suits. They'll do flybys of the vets, take pictures, videos. Last year we had some tanks out there that were brought out, and so the families came out, and the kids got to ride on tanks.
It's amazing.
Yeah, just a phenomenal time. This year, what we're planning on doing, the gentleman that owns the tanks, he's going to bring them out, and we're going to actually crush the cars that are going to be out there. So who doesn't want to crush a car? It's going to be freaking awesome.
That's amazing.
Right. But besides that, we do various smaller programs, and we do that twice a week. You might probably saw Jordan mentioned or commented on there, but we have a little swimming event that happens today. After our interview, I'm going with some of the guys, and we're meeting up with a couple of Team Alpha Male guys. Some of you guys might know Cody Galbraith. He's fighting for the belt in August against our former teammate TJ Dillashaw in the UFC. So yep, exactly. So it's a swim workout, right? And we get together, we work out, we push each other, and have a good time. Then the next day, tomorrow, we might be doing either a gym workout or a cycling workout, and that's just smaller groups of vets coming together, and then we invite and encourage non-veterans, civilians, to come out and participate.
Awesome.
The reason we want to encourage and invite non-veterans to come out is we want to bridge that gap. Veterans,
yes,
yes,
yeah. That is my tagline. I want to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
No, it's all good. And there is a gap. Not all veterans and civilians are able to understand or play nicely together.
Yes.
And so,
well, I mean, in all fairness to everybody involved, I think the veteran community doesn't want to burden everyone, and they believe that civilian world doesn't understand them, which is true. But it's not that we don't want to. It's not that we don't want to listen. It's not that we don't want to be there, because there are those of us who do want to pitch in where we can. I can give you a hand up. I can listen to you speak. I can be an advocate for you. I don't understand. I will never understand what you and George and all of your friends and brothers went through. I will never understand it. But I can still be here. I can still support you.
Yeah.
I can still be a part of, you going forward and living in this world, because I'm kind of a pro at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what you said is it's true. We have a movie night, when a movie comes out, military movie or whatever the case may be, we'll get a group of vets together, and then we put it on social media. Hey, anybody that wants to come out, and non-veterans come out, and we just hang out, watch a movie, go get a bite to eat, and chat a little bit. Just build that comfort zone or that comfort level. We did a event last year. We haven't planned it for it this year, but in Folsom, California, there's a lake. It's Folsom Lake, and what we did was it was a CrossFit event. Kind of a CrossFit event, and what we did was we put a four-man team or four-person team, and at least two members of that team have to be veterans. So two veterans and one, or three veterans and one civilian, or two veterans and two civilians. Basically a four-person team, and two have to be veterans. And so everybody comes out and we work together. So we give them tasks like, say, push-ups or whatever the case may be, a workout, running together, cycling together, swimming together, and through those workouts, when everybody's sweating and having a hard time, you forget that who's a veteran, who's not a veteran, or anything like that, and you work together.
You're just a
and
team.
right, accomplishing a common goal. And that's what you
Yeah.
want to build. And then afterwards, not realizing, you develop a relationship with that person. Who knows, maybe that vet needs a bud, needs a friend, or the
Mm-hmm.
vet needs a job,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. And this civilian person, this individual knows something or someone that can help out. And that
Yeah.
is what we're trying to put together through these programs and events that Ranger Road has been part of. We just recently started. I'm kind of all over the place because Ranger Road's
It's fine.
doing a lot of things.
It's fine.
We, with the help of some local donors, we started a program in Walter Reed Hospital, which is in Washington D.C., and it's
Yes.
called Project Moving Forward. And what that is, it was kind of an accident how it happened. One of my buddies was fighting in D.C. Professional Fight League, not the UFC, Lance Palmer, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be fighting out here. Why don't we bring some of the vets out here, watch me fight, and have a good time?" So we flew the
It's
vets out
amazing.
there, and another friend of mine, Alejandro, who is a double amputee, was in Walter Reed when he was hurt in
Mm-hmm.
the IED situation. And so he knew a gentleman that was working at the hospital. His name is Mr. Harvey. And so long story short, everything worked out well. We hung out at the hospital, and they said, "Hey, this is great. Why don't we continue doing this?" So now, once a month, me and a couple other volunteers, we fly out to Walter Reed Hospital, and we put our program together, and we work out. We do boxing, MMA training, and various types of workouts with the men and women in the hospital going through the treatment. So it's
Nice.
freaking awesome. It's such a good feeling to be able to be part of that, and
Yeah.
especially when the guys and gals tell us, "Hey, this is really cool. This is working. This is helping me. Let's continue doing this." So
Yeah. That's amazing. All right. Well, I've had you for 30 minutes, but if you have like two more, there's a couple of shouts I want to get to. Scott Sorensen, thank you for jumping on. That's amazing. Kyle Allen, Marcus, Michelle, you guys were so great. Thank you so much for making comments and asking questions. We really appreciate it. Number one, Jonathan Williams, that's my spouse. He has a couple of cars that he possibly can donate
okay.
to some tanks crushing them. So if that is something you're interested in, let us know. Where can they swim? Where can everyone swim today if people want to come out and join you?
So today is going to be in Sacramento, California. It's called the Swim Institute, where Marcus will be there, Jordan will be there, a lot of the guys there's a couple guys from Team Alpha Male that we're specifically working out with. But if they want to participate or be part of the programs that we do have, they can visit our website. We have a list of programs and events, upcoming events on there. They can sign up. Everything that we do for our veterans with Ranger Road is free. So we are, we have zero overhead. We're all volunteers, including myself and George, and everybody's doing so much for our community. And so anybody that wants to, like you mentioned, donate a car, or we have the skydiving event. We have SOG or SOG knives and other Oakley standard issue. They're donating products to hand out to our veterans that are going to be participating. So anybody that can help out, contribute. We are a 501c nonprofit organization, and everything that we do, we rely heavily on donations and people contributing, volunteers. We need volunteers like crazy in all the stuff that we're doing and
Yeah.
helping each other out.
Sounds awesome. So guys, I will be posting the links. I will be posting where you can find Mikhail in the playback of this stream. And I want to thank you so much for coming on. Do you have like any last words for everyone before you jump off? Because I know you got to go swim.
I do. So this weekend, starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the 2018 Best Ranger competition. So take a look at it. I competed in 2006. I was fortunate to win. Phenomenal time.
That's amazing.
I think it's going to be streaming not only online but on TV. I don't know what channels, but military channel for sure.
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw a shout out to everybody and all the vets out there. Thank you for watching.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Mikhail, I cannot thank you enough for coming on. I think everyone loved it today. And I hope to have you back. I know that you are so busy, and I really appreciate you carving some time out of your schedule today to talk to all of our amazing audience.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. It's my pleasure. All right, guys, thank you so much. Everyone have a great day.